everyone, Egman here with another video, and today we're going to look at the top 16 for the Core TCG Webcam Regional that happened this past weekend. This was a pretty cool event. I was also in it, but unfortunately I had to leave early after round 6, so I couldn't finish my own run. If you want to see the Aandroidd 18 list that I ran, it should be in the description or at the end of this video as well. But we're going to look at the decks that did play all 8 rounds and got to top 16. So looking at the top 4, we'll see that Robert Reese got first with King Vegeta, Carlos got second with Dark Broly, David Fu with Frieza for third, and Yusef with Sin Shenron for fourth. So honestly, like the main 4 that where a lot of people are saying are a little bit overtuned right now, and obviously 3 of these decks are getting nerfs, or bans, or erratas. So really interesting there. And if you look at the top 8 also, you'll see that there's also Son Goku, the Gogeta Fusion, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Son Goku, Vegex, and then also another King Vegeta. So the top 8 is actually really has a lot of decks in it, right? There's only 1 repeat with King Vegeta, and then there's also just a lot. There are 10 unique leaders in this top 16, which is really nice. And honestly, there's a good mix of colors. There's 3 red, 4 yellow? No, sorry, 5 yellow, a couple black decks, a couple blue decks, and even a single green deck, and it's a Chilai and Limo, so I love it. But that's kind of how we're sitting right here. We're going to look through the decks themselves. Also, if you guys, I'll be updating this. If there's a video of the people who are playing this deck who made their own video talking about it, they're going to talk about it way better than I will, so definitely click those videos there. Right now, I just have Robert Reed's, and if you guys have any links to send me, just put in the comments below as well. But there we go. But once again, thank you to Core TCG for sending me these lists to show you guys. I really appreciate it. And I know you guys appreciate it too, so watch out for that. Make sure to send them some love. They're going to be doing some events in the next couple months as well, so make sure to check out their website and keep up to date for some webcams and going from there. But let's go to the first place list. I'm not going to talk a lot about this list because I don't 100%. I haven't played a lot of King Vegeta, and obviously Robert Reese made his own video for it, so you should probably check that out. But pretty solid. I'd say the only change that this got hit was he was running 3 of the SS4 Son Goku Heartfelt Plea. This would probably be down to 1 because it has to be, but I think everything else is pretty good. He only ran 1 Bark the Resolute, which makes sense. And 4 King Piccolo the New World. This is like the only card that I say that I wish that got limited or something on the new ban list, and that's the running it at 4 is just gross, especially for a deck like this. But I think this is really powerful. Obviously, there's playing your guys for free, having a lot of advantage, being really aggressive with it, and it's super duper strong. So there's the first one there. Going to second place, we've got Carlos's Dark Broly. This deck, I'm not sure. So Dark Broly's kind of in a weird spot, right? Because now it has this errata, and the active battle on the Awaken side is now only once per turn. So not being able to combo all the cards in your hand to get rid of your stuff, especially since a lot of these guys just have 0 combo power. It's going to be kind of weird. So we're going to see how that kind of changes the next little bit. I know there's some other archetypes that just have a bunch of big 30Ks that this leader could just take advantage of. Honestly, I think they're still going to be Dark Broly's, these big 3 as well, but we're going to see how they change. But I think this is just honestly just a solid list. It's pretty clear of what we've been seeing for the last 6+ months, pretty much all year for this deck. I think it's in a good spot for this meta, and we'll have to see how Dark Broly adjusts to the changes that are coming next month. Next up, we've got David Fu with his Mecha Frieza. This list is going to have to take some changes. Universe Dynasty Symbol is completely banned. Bergamo needs to go down to 1. But I honestly, Mecha Frieza has a lot of tools with it and coming that exist right now and will exist in the future. So it's going to be interesting to see what it's going to have moving forward. It's interesting to see that he's running this Bojack. I think this is the new from the expansion set. So being able to, if you have Bojack Brigade card in your energy, reduce combo cost of this card by 1, negates energy exhaust skill in all areas. So I'm guessing like it's you can always run the Mecha Frieza, but that's always a 10k combo in hand. So being able to do the charge 1 and then you can charge another one for free is kind of nice. I don't think it's used for the auto or active battle at all, but I do like Bojack and I do like Aegis, so I do think the Aegis package makes a lot of sense. So we're going to see if Aegis is still going to be a thing, though, because Universe 9 Symbol is also really good with Sorial and Hop, because you can just use this to play this for free, and then you have blue-yellow out, and you also have blue-yellow cards in your deck. So that's all I want to talk about. Son Goku Absolute Annihilation, such a good card in this deck. I love that. Lord Slug, little engine there as well. I don't think people are running as much stuff to get rid of Barrier right now, so it can kind of be great to just sit there. And that's about it. I'd say also, it's interesting to see 4 Krillins. Usually people like to run Zamasu at like 2 or 3, just because like you can also discard it for Aegis if you really need to and stuff like that. But I think this deck's going to see some changes, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere either. But I think, it's definitely, if Aegis is still a package, it's going to have to be changed to using some other things. But I think there's also a lot of cool new blue-yellow cards and tools that the deck can get as well. So we'll see how this changes, but I think the list looks solid, and congrats to David for getting top 4. All right, and then we also have the Sen Shenron list. I will say this list, so one, I'm only, if I didn't say this earlier, I'm only looking at the top placing leader for each leader. So there are other Sen Shenron's list, but I will say this one is a little bit less aggressive. I'd say this is more like a mid-range option. And here's kind of like the scary thing about Sen Shenron. It was built to be like a mid-range control deck, and inherently. So being able to Cell Xeno obviously got this the errata that you have to be at 5 or more to get the quad strike and dual attack, but it's not outrageous to get to turn 4 or 5 with Sen Shenron. It just makes a bunch of bodies. It gives a bunch of big boys that have blocker and barrier. Has a lot of cycle and everything, so we're really going to see what's going on, especially because he's running the 9-drop Sen Shenron, which doesn't get played in the aggro version, but man, this card's super good. Dragon Thunder also super good card as well, and just kind of go from there. So I think this is going to be kind of what Sen Shenron's going to probably shift to anyways, if it's going to survive next month, because you can't. I mean, the aggro version's still strong without Cell Xeno on turn 2 or 3, but it's it doesn't have like the big super finisher. So I think being able to have this mid-range deck and still say, okay, well, I can get to turn 5 anyways, and I'll just be aggressive until then. I think that's a strong spot. And honestly, I think this is kind of going to see, there's going to be the kind of deck we're going to see from this in the next month anyway. So I think it looks strong. Congrats to Youssef for your top 4. Going to 5th place, we've got this Gogeta Fateful Fusion. I don't know about this deck a lot. I've played against it. I just know that these 2 cards are busted. This card's super busted in general. It's very, very good. Being able to Union Fusion or Overwhelm it, and then if you Union Fusion it, it just stays. It's a big 25k double striker for 1 that also warps cards from your opponent's battle area with no restriction on cost. So that's really good. We also have this promo as well. It's for 3 for Union Fusion as well, double strike, and then you can play your dudes. We also have this dude, which also Union Fusion for 1. You have to have 2. Your opponent has to have 2 or more energy, but yeah, there's just a bunch of things you can do with this. I think Gogeta's going to see a lot more play with Vegex being a little bit nerfed. Obviously, I don't think Vegex is going anywhere per se, but I think people will just decide to go to Gogeta instead, and we'll kind of see how that looks. But honestly, this deck didn't get hit by anything. I think it's strong. It has a lot of, just because it can facilitate running this card, I think this deck is good. And so we'll see how that really goes. And being able to play Son Goku True Fighting Spirit is really, really good. That's a strong card. And it's also a 5k, and so you can use it for your Union Fusion as well. And then you also have this Vegeta True Fighting Spirit too. If your leader card is Black Saiyan, when your opponent activates, switches their energy to active mode with a non-awakened skill, they choose 1 card in their hand set to the warp. So that's good too. I don't know. This is all just good. This is good stuff. This I think is really good against blue as well, because blue likes to switch their energy to active mode and activate counter skills, and then they don't have a big hand. So being able to punish them for that, I think, is going to be powerful coming up. So congrats to Jacob for that. We're going to 6th place, Frisco Foz Soul Striker reboot deck. I super like this deck. I think this is kind of, so if you don't know, I was playing Chilai, or not Chilai, I was playing Aandroidd 18 Bojack essentially. So it's more or less this package with Aandroidd 18 instead of Super Saiyan God Son Goku. And I like this, what this is doing for it. Being able to play Galactic Buster with both Bojacks, I think, is powerful. Honestly, like, you know, even though these are 10k combos, this card lets you just untap really good and get some power there, so that's helpful. Running for this guy, being able to so the cool little combo here too is that we have this. You can play Saiyans in rest mode for its -1 and return cards to your opponent's hand. Then you can play this guy, or honestly any of this. It's just this guy, but if you play any Saiyan, its skills are negated. And then you're able to, for 4, play this triple strike, deflect. For 4 blue, if your leader card is blue Saiyan, choose one, and your opponent has 3 or more energy, you can choose one of your skill list battle cards at any cost of 2. Play this card from your hand. If you do, play this card, play the chosen card in your energy. So you get a ramp for free, which is super nice, and you get this big triple strike arrow. It doesn't have barrier, so you can just freeze that, unfortunately, but activate once per turn. Place 1 mono blue card from your energy in your drop area. Switch this card to active mode. Then choose all your opponent's battle cards and place them at the owner of the owner's deck in any order. That's just really absurd. Being able to just do this active main to do this, and I mean, technically you don't even lose energy. You get an energy untapped for doing it. So I think this is a super strong deck for what it does, being able to do these board wipes, and then, like, once again, Galactic Buster is really good. This little blue Bojack package, I think, is great in blue going forward in general. Gets you a lot of power, and yeah, I like this deck. I'm happy it did well, and I honestly want to play it too. So we'll see if I scrounge up the cards for it as well. But congrats to Frisco for his top 8. Next up, we're going to Carlos, top or 7th place, Vegex. I played against this deck. This deck is obnoxious. I did not have. I mean, I did have fun. Don't get me wrong, but man, it was really good at what it did. The biggest culprit for me, and this is just a matchup dependent one, is this Unison. So he doesn't run Black Mass Saiyan, because I think that's kind of a somewhat safe call, because, you know, just a lot of decks have ways to get rid of that card. But this just says auto once per turn. If your leader card is black, when your opponent plays a battle card using a non-keyword skill, they choose 1 card from their hand and discard it. So when I'm playing Aandroidd 18 or Aandroidd 21, right, and I play these tokens to my opponent's side of the field, I have to pitch a card. And normally my leader lets me bounce a 1-drop back to your opponent's hand, so you could bounce back Black Mass Saiyan. But this is not a 1-drop to bounce back, so I had to keep pitching a card until I could finally get rid of this guy. And so I think this is powerful, and honestly, you know, obviously you don't get the drop effect from Vegex for it, but I still think it's a super powerful card at what it does, and help the deck out as well. I don't know if he'd ever played the -5, but that's scary. So there's that. But everything else is kind of more of like an Overrealm base version of the deck, but it also has Super Saiyan 3 Gogeta. This card, he played this like turn 2, and it just did a lot of damage for me as well. So that being able to play that early is good. You know, you have a lot of Gokus and Vegetas. You have these 2 5k ones, and then you also have these 2 30k ones as well. I don't think you have the 19k. Yeah, you don't have, but you just have to have these guys out, and you're fine. But yeah, I think pretty solid deck. You know, Koisakai is good too, and then King Vegeta, Kingdom Lost. This plays choose up to 1 card in your opponent's hand or 1 card in your opponent's battle area, send it to owner's warp. When this is in rest, like this, honestly, this just has a lot of hand destruction for a deck like this. And like what, the Demigra is also the same way as well. So I'd say like this is more like a mid-range hand destruction version, because also Vegeta, which is crit, like, and playing against, like, I think this deck, you know, it might be a little bit less consistent moving forward with only the burst 3, but being able to be kind of aggressive and also making your opponent have to discard cards and everything else, I think this is going to be a good deck moving forward still, especially if you know what everyone says, where blue is going to take over the meta. Blue really sucks against hand destruction, so that can be really, really good. Next up, we've got 9th place, Chris Anderson's Aandroidd 16. I think people have been playing this deck, you know, off and on for a while. I don't think in any regard it's bad, and it honestly has a lot of good tools with it. Especially we have this new 5-drop Aandroidd 16 Stalwart Defender. Some of this card's played. You can't play. It's a rival for just 1 blue. Choose up to 1. It has essentially limit 1. Or no, sorry, you can't play copies of the turn. Anyways, choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards and you cost 4 and KO it, which is great. Blue-green just hasn't had like a good arrival card, so this just being able to play this and pop something is a good arrival card for blue-green. And if your leader card's blue Aandroidd, you can add up to 1 blue Aandroidd 16 with energy cost 2 or less from your deck and add it to your hand. So I like this deck. You know, blue-green I think is powerful. Being able to play Majin Buu is like, this is like one of the best unisons in the game right now. And every blue deck I think runs it. Yeah, this one runs it, and every blue deck. We'll look at some other ones too. But this is just like the best unison to play. It's such a powerful card. Being able to get untapped, being able to get card draw, being able to get card destruction, being able to have a double strike blocker and a 20k. It has pretty much everything. It's just such a good 4-drop unison for the games, or for blue in general. So that is this list. I think this is really interesting. I hope he makes a video for it, and if you want to be on the channel, let me know, because I haven't done a lot of Aandroidd 16. I do want to know about the deck a little bit more. So there we go. Going to 11th place, we've got Robert's deck. I played against this deck too. So my not to toot my own horn, my 2 losses are people who placed in top 16. So I think if I was able to win out, I had a moderately good chance to top 16, but regardless, here's Robert's deck. This one's super good as well. He's just got a lot of value. If you haven't, I'm going to kind of let him, he's going to make a video for his list, so I'm going to kind of let him explain a little bit, but it's just powerful at what it does. We know this, we talked about this SS2 Gohan is very powerful. Being able to, like, I don't know, blue just has like a lot of like good cards after turn 4 and 5, and so if it's going to start getting there really consistently, then they're going to have a lot of power, which I think is going to happen going forward. So, but this is the list. Honestly, also, Hatch-Yak is such a good secret rare. I think the other blue decks played Hatch-Yak. Yeah, played Hatch, and played Hatch. Hatch is just can win you the game. Hatch, if you play at the right time, your opponent's out of resources, or they're expecting to swing with big dudes, you just win the game. And it's like, I experienced that too playing blue this weekend. It's such a good card, and there's not a lot of answers to it besides like blue, or just having to have like a cooler negate like for 3. Like, it's just so expensive to get rid of, to play around this card. And if your opponent plays around this card, you probably win anyways too. So I like this list, and Hatch is good. That's my last point. And then we have this July list. Oh, I love this July list. This is I would say the ratios for this are very interesting, for my opinion. It is a 60 card list. Not only are they playing the Allied Reinforcements, but they're also playing Come Forth Shenron, which you get to play as Shenron for free. So you get this guy, which isn't like, this is a fine card to play for free, because you get to either untap 2, you get to pop a card, or you get to draw a card and untap 2, which is really, really good. Energy untap in this list is crazy bad, like crazy good, because we don't have a lot of it. So being able to, for free, like if you tap out for 4 and then for free use Come Forth Shenron and get it back, is good. I do like Dark Broly as the unison for this guy as well. He's just, he gains like so much value. Being able to discard, like, you gain so much card advantage in this deck that pitching 1 card to make your opponent lose 2 cards is such a good plus for the deck. Is also running Demon God Deborah, and only 1 ball, but that's just to get like extra free +1s and stuff. My only concern about the deck is that, and I've said this a lot, is that Allied Reinforcements is such a hard card to play when we've got King Vegeta around, and King Vegeta was like the top 3. So definitely, Raymond, if you want to reach out to me, and if you see this and you want a deck profile, I'd definitely like to talk to you about your ratios and your matchups as well. I can just expect like that matchup can be just super tough, and you're not even running any oobs, I don't think. So being able to awaken early just seems like it can be really tough for you. So I'd be interested to see your experiences with this list and how you thought about it. But it looks like it's super tailor-made, a lot of one-ofs, which is fine, because Chile, just you draw so much, you cycle so much that you can kind of see those more reliably. But I would 1000% be interested in seeing how you did, especially since you're running Cell Xeno. How do you get to Cell Xeno? Is it just 2 Friezas and a 2-drop, I guess? Because you can't play Cell Xeno on top of the Broly. So I'd be interesting to see why Cell Xeno was your secret rare as well. But that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed my breakdown. Once again, this document is going to be in the description below if you want to click on it yourself. Thanks again to Core TCG for giving me these lists to share with you guys as well. And then if you have any of these videos for other people talking about their decks way better than I would, please let me know, and I'll put it in this spreadsheet. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.